Hello everyone, good morning. I'm glad to welcome you all to Manage Engine's free training on OpManager MSP. Let me introduce myself. I'm Gladius, product expert at Manage Engine. I'm really delighted to be your presenter for this free training. Today, we will discuss about onboarding and monitoring of multi-client networks using OpManager MSP. Let's look at the agenda for today. We will briefly talk about OpManager MSP, what it does, and what its basic features are. Then, the system requirements, installation of OpManager MSP, followed by how to onboard the clients in OpManager MSP and how to perform device discovery. And finally, we will talk about performance monitoring of your client network devices. Before getting into OpManager MSP, let's have a quick outline about managed service providers. As you all know, MSPs remotely handle multiple client networks so that the clients can focus on developing their business rather than worrying about network issues and outages. And managed services market is expected to reach more than $393 billion by 2028. Service providers manage several client networks simultaneously, meaning they spot, diagnose, and fix network issues of one client's network without letting the other networks go down. This sounds like a tedious task. That's why it's important to have a feature-rich tool like OpManager MSP to back you up. So, what is OpManager MSP? OpManager MSP is an end-to-end client network monitoring solution that allows service providers to keep track of your client's network performance round the clock. With OpManager MSP by your side, you can easily foresee any kind of potential mishaps or malfunctions and fix them proactively. And it helps you gain a single pane of view over your multi-client infrastructure. Default HTTPS mode of communication between central and probes ensure security. You can perform various multi-client requests like changing the polling interval or updating the threshold for monitors in bulk. You can use OpManager MSP to monitor a wide variety of client network devices such as VMwares, Zen servers, Nutanix devices, storage devices, etc. You can also deploy client-specific views in addition to the global view and ensure that you have in-depth visibility into your multi-client infrastructure. Next in the queue, we have architecture of OpManager MSP. OpManager MSP serves the needs of every managed service provider with its probe central architecture. Let me explain how central and probe works. The central server acts as a unified console which synchronizes data with multiple probe servers. The central server is designed to provide network visibility across locations, consolidate and report the health of multiple remote networks. The probe server acts as a polling engine. It monitors the routers, switches, firewall servers, and other networking devices for faults and performance. It generates availability, health, and performance reports. The probe server periodically synchronizes data with the central server to stay updated. This is all about architecture. Let's now move on to software and hardware requirements. We require a Intel Xeon 3.5 GHz, 4 cores or 8 threads or higher processor. OpManager MSP supports both PG-SQL and MS-SQL databases. PG-SQL comes bundled with the product, and we need a hard disk with a minimum space of 100 GB for central and a minimum of 40 GB space for the probe setup, and the RAM requirement is a minimum of 16 GB. OpManager MSP can be installed in both Windows and in Linux operating systems. These system requirements mentioned are the minimum requirements for the specified number of devices. Using requirements may vary based on the load. And you can visit the link provided at the bottom of the slide for more information on the requirements. The presentation PPT will be sent to you via email as we discussed earlier. In addition to meeting the software and hardware requirements, we also have a list of port requirements to be met. The protocols such as WLAN, TCP for discovery, and SNMP, Telnet, etc. for monitoring and device data collection requires these ports mentioned here to be opened for easy installation of the tool and to seamlessly monitor your client network devices. Again, you can visit the link provided at the bottom of the slide for more information on the port requirements. So once the hardware and software requirements are met and the required ports are open, you are all set to install OpManager MSP. The first step is to download the OpManager MSP central.exe file from the website and run the installation wizard. Provide your location, and as discussed a few slides back, you can choose either PGSQL or MS as your preferred database. No additional configuration is needed for PGSQL, whereas to configure MS follow the steps provided in a help page and ensure the port for MSP Central is not in use by any other process or service. Followed by installing OpManager MSP's Central setup. Let's see how to onboard our client's network via probe. The first step is to provide the probe from the official OpManager MSP website. You can download it from there, or you can also download it from the central UI. OpManager MSP allows you to add any number of client networks to your central and multiple probes to a single client. You can add the customer and the probe details on the central UI without much effort. The other important step which has to be done during the installation process is to download the probekey.zip file from the web client and deploy it in the probe setup. The probe key is unique for every client. This is to have a secured communication between the probe and the central. You can choose between PGSQL or MS database. But if you choose MS for your central setup, the same option has to be chosen for the probe setup as well. You can toggle between multiple customer networks you have added easily with the help of the drop-down option provided in Central UI and access the preferred data. Let me take you to the setup. Under Inventory, you'll find this drop-down button active, and by clicking on it, you'll be able to toggle between multiple customers and probes easily. Once you add a probe key will be generated. As I said earlier, let me show that to you. Give me a minute. Under customers, you can download probe from here, and once the probe is installed, you can use the probe key provided here to install the probe setup. Each probe key generated is unique. Once the central and the probes are installed, we can move forward to the next step, that is user management. Once the central and probes are installed, we can go to the next step, which is user management. User management in OpManager MSP allows you to create individual user profiles for the members of your NOC team and provide them with the corresponding access privileges. This helps you to avoid the use of an external identity management tool, and it allows you to grant or revoke access and set up security restrictions, allowing you to essentially enforce role-based access control. There are three user roles in OpManager MSP, namely administrator, operator, and custom user. The administrator role has unrestricted access to perform read-write operations in OpManager MSP. They can add, remove devices, troubleshoot issues, change configurations, and more without any limitations. On the other hand, an operator has read-only restricted access in OpManager MSP. They can be granted further access by the administrator. You might be wondering what are custom users and who are they? Now, a custom user is someone whose level of access varies across the different modules in OpManager MSP. The admin can set up a custom user role and provide different levels of access, such as read write, read only, or no access. For example, you can give a user access to only discover devices, meaning the person can only add devices into OpManager MSP or reports with read-only access so that the person can only view those particular probes report and so on as per your requirement. In addition to user roles, OpManager MSP allows you to specify user types wherein you can select if the user is a local user, an Active Directory user, or a radius user. Let me show that to you in the setup. Go to settings, user management. We can add new users here, be it operator or administrator according to your requirement, and give them access to required records of clients or probes alone or only the specific modules so that they won't be able to access all the data by the increased security. We can add roles over here. This is the custom role we were talking about. And about password policy. A password policy is a set of rules designed to enhance security by encouraging users to employ strong passwords. This is another possible defense against password guessing, and by enabling account lockout, the account will be logged out after the specific number of invalid or failed login attempts. Post the client user management setup, let's now discuss discovering client's network. We will see how to discover devices in client's network in our probe setup. To do that, we have to get our devices and their credential list ready, which is essential for the discovery process. OpManager MSP can use the credentials during the discovery process and add the devices successfully. In OpManager MSP, we can create client-specific credential libraries and run credential validation tests now and then using the test credential option. We will take a quick look at the setup and understand how it's done. All you have to do is select a probe, go to settings. Under discovery, you will find test credentials over here, and here is where you add credential, and if the select the respective protocol based on the device you are going to monitor and create the required credentials and have them ready before the discovery process. We support SNMP versions V1, V2, V3 and WMI for Windows specific devices. SH Telnet for CLI or Linux devices, VMware credentials for virtual devices. The credentials created have to be customer or probe specific. We can also test credentials over here and associate credentials to the network devices with the help of this button. The credentials are wrong or expired after discovering the device. OpManager MSP will not be able to access the device, and hence cannot pull the data for monitoring. This restricts OpManager MSP from monitoring the particular device. However, the status polling of the device will continue. To avoid this, you can periodically run test credentials to make sure the credentials are up to date. Once the credentials are configured and ready, the next step is to discover devices in your client's network. Let's see how to do it. This network discovery process in OpManager MSP can be done in just a few steps. That saves us a lot of time and efforts. Not only that, OpManager MSP gives you multiple options to discover your client's network, making the process much more feasible. You can take advantage of client device discovery feature to discover devices. Interface discovery, as the name suggests, we can discover interfaces with the help of OpManager MSP. And we also have options to schedule discovery. We can get a detailed view on the discovered devices via reports, and we have device template, and finally discovery rule engine. Why don't we dig a little deeper into each of these listed features? The first topic is client device discovery. We can discover devices in bulk by specifying the IP range. We can also import from AD or CSV file. Besides this, we also have dedicated device addition option to directly add storage devices, virtual machines, etc. OpManager MSP also has a discovery filter option, which lets you discover only a specified set of devices, leaving out the rest. That is, with the help of powerful add or ignore mechanism, we can choose the device which have to be added or ignored. As in some scenarios, we might not need all the devices to be discovered and monitored. Let's have a look at our tool. To discover a single device, go to Settings, click on Add Device or Server. If you wish to discover devices in bulk, go to Settings, Network Discovery, and New Discovery. You can choose how you want to discover your devices, either by specifying IP range or importing it from AD or CSV file. You can add credentials here. You can use this option want to ignore devices to add a particular device or ignore devices. You can also add credentials here in case if you miss to add it in the beginning, which will help you save a lot of navigation time. Followed by devices discovery, we have interface discovery. OpManager MSP has a dedicated interface discovery. This feature lets you specify device and interface criteria. You provide conditions and discover the interfaces in just a few minutes. Also, we have a feature which lets you identify and discover the interfaces that are connected to a particular device. You can decide which are all the interfaces needs monitoring and leave out the rest as not all the interfaces require monitoring. Let's have a quick view of this feature. Go to Settings. Under Discovery, you will find Interface Discovery. You can mention the criteria here and discover the interfaces in no time. Moving on to the next topic, device templates. What is a device template? Device templates are nothing but an XML file that is preloaded with device details such as device type, category, monitoring interval, and more. With device templates by your side, you can classify a device under a specific device type, and it will automatically be mapped to its respective device template, which reduces a lot of config time. You can associate the necessary performance monitors to devices during the process of device discovery itself. With this feature, you can also make a configuration change and apply it to several devices at once. Essential performance monitors are also available based on the object identifiers provided by their vendors and can be associated with the devices easily. There are about 10,000 and more device templates in OpManager MSP. Also, OpManager MSP allows you to customize your own device template as well or modify the existing ones. We will have a quick glance at the product to see how it is done. Go to settings again. Device template under configuration. These are the device templates that are already present. You can create new ones here. You can associate these device templates to network devices and import device templates as well. Next, we have Discovery Rule Engine. Discovery Rule Engine is one of the key features that makes discovering and monitoring devices a lot easier for an MSP. Let me give you an example. When your admin wants to associate notification profile to all the routers in your client's network, it would be tedious, isn't it, if we had to go to every device to associate notification profile manually. With Discovery Rule Engine, that problem can be resolved. Notification profile will be automatically associated to the required device. All the discovery rules with its status as enabled will be applied for discoveries. Let us see how we could achieve the same in the demo setup. Go to settings. Under network discovery, you'll find discovery rule engine. Over here, so this is the discovery rule which has been already created. You can create a new one. Give a name. Description and provide the type and select the actions that you'd like to associate with the device and save. The discovery rule will be created and make sure the status is enabled once the discovery rule is created. This marks the end of the discovery features. Our next topic of this webinar is going to be network monitoring. After discovering your client network devices, the most important thing any MSP is required to do is monitor the network for any performance degradation. In OpManager MSP, we have many options to let you perform monitoring seamlessly. The main aim of monitoring client network performance is to ensure the client experiences no network downtime. Monitoring network performance helps you anticipate potential outages and address network problems proactively. OpManager MSP has a huge inventory of predefined monitors. And of course, it allows you to monitor your client's network devices and interfaces irrespective of its vendor. It also lets you monitor the devices in bulk by associating threshold violation based monitors. Meaning, whenever there is any violation of the threshold value set, a notification will be sent to you. Apart from the default monitors present in OpManager MSP, you can always create your own custom monitors to suit each of your client's requirement. OpManager MSP now has agent-based monitoring. Agent-based monitoring lets you collect data on critical metrics of your network devices periodically with the help of an agent. An agent is a small, lightweight software installed on devices. It monitors the devices round the clock and updates their status instantly to the server in real time. This method reduces the load on the server and helps improve its performance. Let's get a little deeper and understand how every monitor works. All right, the first monitor we are going to look at is the availability monitor. Availability is one of the basic and fundamental requirements of all network administrators. This is an essential parameter that lets you check the health of your devices, which is crucial to monitor any infrastructure. This efficient tool will help you monitor the health status of your client network devices using ICMP or TCP or SNMP protocols. The availability is monitored frequently at regular intervals. You can also set thresholds for packet loss and response time. Go to our setup. The devices that has been discovered will be listed in this inventory screen. Under summary, you will be able to view this page, which is commonly called as device snapshot page. These dials will show you the data on availability, packet loss, and response time. And device summary details will be listed over here. So this is all about the device. Moving on to the next slide, performance monitoring. OpManager MSP's predefined performance monitors helps you take control of your client's devices by setting up device-specific monitors to drill down on any particular aspect of a device that you want to monitor. OpManager MSP can monitor various network devices that are reachable from OpManager MSP's server and any parameter that are configured with SNMP credential. For example, when it comes to routers, OpManager MSP is capable of monitoring parameters such as active IP sessions, buffer failures, IP routing discards, CPU memory usage, etc. Likewise, for switches, OpManager MSP monitors memory usage, utilization, and more. OpManager MSP is also capable of monitoring L3 devices as well, like your firewall and its parameters like firewall CPU usage, concurrent users, active VPN tunnels, and much more. Printers have evolved in such a way that they can be connected through a network. With OpManager MSP, you can monitor printer parameters such as paper jam, toner levels, and so on. To view the performance monitors associated to a device, you go to device snapshot page, and under monitors, you will be able to find all the monitors that are associated to a device, and the performance monitors that are associated is under this tab. Graph icon over here will give you the graphical representation of this particular metrics, and you can delete, edit. There are more options, and under actions you will be able to add more monitors to this particular device. Let's get back to our presentation. Now that we have understood how performance monitors work, let's go to our next topic, virtual and Nutanix server performance monitoring. OpManager MSP provides intensive agentless virtual device monitoring to enable effortless performance management of your VMware devices. With OpManager MSP, you can monitor VM performance metrics like CPU ready time, CPU wait time, memory balloon, network, disk, data store, etc. You can also monitor hardware metrics such as sensor, power, temperature, voltage, and more. OpManager MSP relies on VMware API protocol to accomplish this. We currently offer support for Dell and HP vendors, and this list is surely expanding. You can also monitor your client VMware events like any inventory changes, for example, VM being migrated from one VM to another, a new host being connected, and any new VMs being powered on or off. All such events can be captured. Finally, arriving at the reports, we have exclusive reports for your virtual devices. And we also have sprawl dashboards that sprawl their own virtual maps considering all the virtual devices discovered. We will talk about dashboards in detail during our next part of the session, which is on October 25th. Let's go to our setup. Click virtualization. This is the snapshot page for this particular vCenter, and under monitors, you'll be able to view all the monitors that is associated with this device. Moving on, services and Windows service monitoring. Any Windows service that runs in the background or any particular service can be monitored with this monitor. And in case those Windows services go down, you can automatically restart the service or restart the entire server with the help of OpManager MSP's Windows Service Monitoring. And then we have services monitors that are nothing but TCP port monitors. The main difference between Windows Service and Services Monitor is that Windows Service is running on the server directly, whereas the Service Monitor is going to check the TCP ports availability and check if the particular service is up or down and alerts you accordingly. Followed by Windows Service and Service Monitoring, we have Process Monitoring. Process monitoring lets you keep a close eye on the CPU being used by the processes you are running. So you can monitor the current active process running on any machine. CPU, memory, and status of that process can also be monitored, such as whether a process is down or if it's up and running fine. You can set the thresholds for all your critical processes, and you can even kill any processes if they seem to be an unwanted one from OpManager MSP itself. The device snapshot page, you will be able to view all the active processes under this tab. Let's go back to the presentation. So our next topic is script monitoring. Script template can be used to monitor a specific line metric for which you can't find a standard SNMP or WMI monitor. Let's say you wanted to monitor the expiry dates of SSL certificates that sits on your servers. They can never be monitored with the help of SNMP. For those requirements, you can go ahead and use the script templates. You can write your own script in any of the languages like Python, VB, Perl, etc. And those scripts can be directly imported in the tool and executed to get results. These scripts can both be executed in local as well as remote machines. Output formats of these scripts should be in predefined model like the ones displayed on the screen, which is over here. Go to settings. Under monitoring, you will find script templates. New script templates can be added here, and you can associate script templates as well. Next to script monitoring, we will be talking about trap processor. OpManager MSP offers a comprehensive and scalable SNMP trap processing solution. OpManager MSP waits for SNMP traps from devices on the default port number 162. This can be changed as per your requirement. So, it automatically acts as a trap receiver, and based on the trap processors defined in OpManager MSP, the traps are processed and shown as alarms. So, you can create rules to parse clients' trap messages into meaningful alarms. You can also restrict the number of traps that are being processed by OpManager MSP from a particular device by going to trap processor under settings. This can prevent from trap flooding. Another important feature that we have is CIS Log. We know CIS logs are similar to trap processes. For the CIS logs, we listen to default ports 514 and 519, which are UDP ports. These ports can also be configured according to your requirement. You can create syslog rules based on severity, name, etc. You can even forward syslogs to other NSN tools. You can check the rate of syslogs which is being received by OpManager MSP, and also view syslogs that are being received by the tool at any point of time. So you'll find syslogs under settings, under monitoring syslog rules. Are the syslogs that are already configured similar to traps. You can add new ones here, visit syslog port and the flow rate over here. Next in the queue, we have files and folder monitoring feature. OpManager MSP also has the ability to monitor your client's files and folders. It helps you to understand the existence of files and folders. You can find out how long a particular file or folder has been sitting in a particular directory. You can also monitor shared folders. You can monitor size, count, and age of that file. You can also configure the thresholds to make sure that if that file or folder is exceeding a certain size, you can get them limited as well. And you can even search for a particular file and get notified if it is missing using agent. This is all about this feature. Next, we have event log monitoring. Talking about event log rules, with OpManager MSP, one can monitor the programs, security, and system events which happen on Windows devices. You can just gather the event ID, category, etc. from the native tool event viewer and create a rule in OpManager MSP to parse those events. You can monitor custom events using custom event logs. The level of severity of alarms can be customized as well. Go to settings. Under monitoring, you'll find event log rules. You can add new event log rules here. These are the event log monitors that are already present in the setup. Next, we have storage server performance monitoring. So what are the storage metrics and how are the storage devices monitored? The features we have got for the storage devices are: we monitor the management of RAID, tape library, and storage capacity forecasting. You get to monitor the FC switches in the storage department. OpManager supports all the vendors and their respective devices that are listed on the screen. Apart from this, we try our best to add more support for the storage devices with every release. Talking about reports, there is a dedicated report for storage monitoring. To know more about the list of storage devices supported in OpManager MSP, visit our help page. If you have a new device, you can let us know and we'll work on supporting that as well. Let's move on to our next topic, that is WLC monitoring. Wireless LAN controller monitoring is a recently added feature in OpManager MSP that allows you to monitor WLCs across multiple vendors. This is another license module inside OpManager MSP that allows you to gain in-depth information on traffic usage, that is the data transmitted via different wireless and wired network components, and their signal strength. Authorized and unauthorized Wi-Fi connections detected by your access points will be listed out as SSIDs and rogue devices. Detailed information on the health and availability of your access points and active clients across your network can be obtained. Besides all these capabilities, exclusive WLC reports are also available. Go to network. Let me choose a different probe. So this is the wireless LAN controller that has been added, and this will give you a detailed overview on this device. Let's get back to our presentation. This marks the end of the session. Let me quickly summarize what we covered in today's session. First, we discussed what is OpManager MSP and how to install OpManager MSP. And followed by that, we discussed how to onboard clients using MSP's powerful onboarding features. And followed by that, we spoke about multi-client monitoring with OpManager MSP. The next part of this free training is on October 25th. Please be there to learn about client network visualization and fault management. We will be talking about these features that are listed here in our next session, which is dashboard, knock view, business view, basically all the visualization features of OpManager MSP. We'll talk about alerts and fault management and advanced client reports. Drop your queries to this mail ID and follow us on LinkedIn and YouTube to know more about our events and latest updates about our tools. On behalf of Manage Engine and team, I thank you all for your presence. Please do attend our upcoming session as well.